For the better part of my career, more than 20 years, I've been a corporate girl in supply chain management and logistics or classical marketing. But come 2020, COVID and the Great Reset, I got an opportunity to work in a non-profit organization which was helping young unemployed people to be able to break out of that trap of unemployment by connecting them with their first employment opportunity, allowing them to build experience, build that reference letter, and then move on to bigger opportunities. My name is Novantu Nkulwana, and in this season of my life, my ambition is to help the emerging social entrepreneur to be able to flatten that learning curve, scale up their projects, and deliver more impact quicker than ever before. Join us on the NPO Bootcamp as we show you how to level up your social enterprise.
Okay, so in terms of your school fees, you spoke about 6,500 for the matriculants in that and then 5,500 for the rest of the classes, the learners, right? Yeah. So that's not a lot of money. It's maybe 500-600 rand a month. True. But you are delivering a whole lot more value than what you are expecting the parents to pay for. Yes. How are you making that happen?
In that, while they're paying every month. They're paying that in every month. And then within that, we have activities like Valentine's Day and high tea, whereby we fundraise. And also outside of the school, we go out to different big companies to sponsor us because the load is heavy. It's too much. We cannot carry everything. We need sponsors to run with us for such programs, especially when it comes to nutrition, the maintenance of the building, and the salaries. It needs a lot of money, and to maintain a space like Boitumelong in Alexandra, you can imagine, we need a very clean space so that we accommodate, and then the kids, they love and enjoy the space. So the fees, they do help us, including the government does subsidize, but it's not 100% because partially they are assisting us with a little funding for which it comes, it covers some of the school fees. Like it matches. I don't know how to put it matches, but at least it's opting whereby we have some little bit of gaps. When it comes to salary and nutrition, it does help us a lot.
Okay, so how does the government funding work? What is it? Where do you source it? Does it have a name? If somebody is watching this and they're in the ECD space, like, there's government funding that's available for people like us. Where do we get
it? The funding is available, but you need to comply. You're not going to get the funding without any compliance. Okay. You need to be a registered ECD or any NGO, you need to comply with the bylaws. So you need to have your health certificate. You need to have a place whereby the building it's in good condition. You must have toilets. You must have a kitchen. You must have sick bay. You must have classrooms. It needs to. You must all that you need to be compliant. You also need
Where do you get this full list of the compliance requirements?
Normally, you when you register an NPO, you go to the NPO. The nearest NPO, it can be in Johannesburg or Pretoria. So the government, we have different offices, but they're doing the very same thing. To have an ECD, you need to first have a constitution and a team, the whereby you register the team, your name of the school.
So this registration that you're talking about is with the Department of Social Development?
Yeah, you register with an NPO.
Okay,
they fall under the social development. Yeah. So also you need to have registered with the health environment.
Okay.
Yes, you need to. You need to register with the building. Also, your building needs to be, you have to comply with the building what you call this, your building needs to comply with the necessity whereby you have the windows, the toilets, the structure, the bricks and mortar. You need to have the building plan and approved plan.
Okay.
From the housing department.
Okay.
Right. You need to have that, and also in that you need to have a disaster plan.
Okay.
A disaster plan is whereby you involve the health environment and the disaster department from the fire department.
Yes.
Because you need to have the escape plan, You need to have a proper sick bay, your kitchen separate from the classroom. You need to have a fire extinguishers in place, each and every room, the kitchen, the classrooms, the sick bay, whereby there will be the escape doors. You need to have that.
So this is all part of the disaster plan.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yes.
So when I go as an ECD head to go and apply for this funding, I need to have all those funds.
You
with
must.
all that paperwork.
Yes. Yes.
And then where do I go and what funding do I say I'm applying for?
Because I'm an ECD, we now migrated to the Department of Basic Education. So that's where they will give you the forms and it will give you the guidelines on where to go and where to get all those things. But first thing first, you must have a place, a building, because you cannot run an ECD in an outskirt. So we must just have a place by where you're going to build and have all those structures.
So what if I want to run the ECD in my own home where I live? Do the same rules apply?
The same rules apply, but now you have to separate business and home. So the building needs to comply so that you separate your household and the school. So meaning you're not going to stay in the same building. You need to move out and then you build another room whereby you're going to stay, and then this one needs to be left for school only.
So if I want to do it on my own home, my own property, there need to be multiple buildings.
Yes.
It cannot all happen in one building.
No, you can't. You can't. Yes, because we've solved most of the people who wants to start the ECDs. Because already you have a place and you want to start another place and it's gonna cost you a lot of money. Rather continue with what you have. There is no problem, but you need to comply. They don't have a problem with it. Yeah.
Okay, great. So you go and you are applying for what funding?
Well, the funding it's a subsidy.
Okay.
Whereby it covers nutrition, part of salaries,
Okay.
detergents, and the security, stationery, auditors,
Okay, so it's quite significant.
Yeah, it is.
It can cover a lot of the different items.
Because maybe for nutrition they'll give you 50% for food.
Right.
For salaries they give you 25%, and the rest of 25% they split it up for detergents, for cleaners, for handymen, for security. There will be 4% there will 3%, but in the total it needs to be 100. Let's say they give you 100,000. The 100,000 it splits accordingly. Yes. Okay. And then we call it SLA, service level agreement, because you sign up for that money.
Right.
And then as soon as you use it, they need to see the proof that you've utilized it for all those things that you said you're going to use. Even it can be outside of, it's not on an SLA, but they need to see the proof that, where's the 20,000? What did you use it for? Okay. So let's see the proof and the invoices and all that.
So there's a lot that you've given us right here. So when you go, is it a certain amount per ECD? Is it a certain amount per child? How do you know what you are eligible to apply for?
Yeah, they give you according to the number of children that you have.
Okay.
Yes. So me at the moment, let me just give you an example. I have 100 children in my school. They will find 400 children, and then in that 100, maybe they say 50 rands per day for a child. For the meal.
Is that a thumbsuck amount, or that is the amount currently?
No, it's the amount. Okay. I think right now, if it's not 50 rands, it's less than 100 rands.
Okay.
Per day, or per day for a child, or 25 rands per day. I don't know how they calculate it, but 50% of the money that they give you, the department, it must go to nutrition, because you remember now the push is that they must eat before they go home, because remember other kids, it will be their last meal.
Yes.
So we need to give them full meal with meat, with vegetable, with salad.
So do they give you guidelines in terms of what you must be giving at breakfast, at lunch, and
No,
snack?
they do guide us, but it's up to you as the school. But because at the end of the day, let's say the child will get sick, you must have that menu in that today we're eating macaroni and cheese, and then if the child gets sick, we have the proof that they were eating this, and then you spare that food for the following day, so that if anything happens, you have an evidence that they were eating this the whole school.
Oh my goodness!
Yes.
So this is quite it's quite serious. So if you're getting money from the government, part of it goes for nutrition. Every day there's a menu that is predetermined. That's breakfast, lunch, you're going to eat this. And then we're not finishing everything. We need to leave samples of that in case a kid gets it. We need to put it in the fridge or somewhere so that in case we need to go back and investigate what happened, we have the samples.
A sample of food. We must do it because we have children with different allergies, and then other kids, they will move from their home and maybe 18 something, and then when they start changing from the school, obviously the first person to be blamed, it will be us, the school. So we need to have a backup, or that they were eating this the whole school, because you cannot have different menus for different classes. Because if one child gets sick and then you have 100, then the problem is, okay, let's investigate. Definitely it's not the school because it's only one child. But just imagine 150 gets sick. Then there's a problem from the facility.
There's a problem. Yeah. So this food sample, we need to keep for how long?
It's only a day, like today, the following day. If the kids reported it was sick, then you throw it away.
And simple and straightforward. Very nice. Okay, so these are some of the ways that the government can help you to cater for some of the items on your budget if you are compliant and you have all of those checklists that we talked about a little bit.
Yeah, the hands-on. I've even, I think I did mention the auditing. We've got internal and external auditor. So we have external, our own auditors, financial, that are doing our financials every year. And then the government, they send their own auditors to come and audit us that the money is utilized accordingly.
This happens?
Every year, every financial year. And so they do send their auditors. But in any time, they can just come through to your premises to look at the food, to look at the premises, if everything is compliant, and thumbs up for them.
Does that happen? These surprise ad hoc visits?
They don't even tell you.
Is it?
They just come. But as long as they're full in uniform, then they have a right to come in and just check if everything is going accordingly.
Okay, so let's say now this is the first time that we are eligible for the salary, and now we know it's year end, and the department has told us they're going to come and do a financial audit. How do you prepare for that?
For the audit, we keep every month you do the admin work. We have I do have an administrator in my office. We keep check of every receipt. We do write everything. We do print if there was an invoice, anyone that we paid through the EFTs. So we keep each and every invoice in the file. We fight. Like we are in the office, we need to be professional. We keep evidence every week. You don't just maybe you use the money today, then you remember, oh, I must keep a receipt after 2 months. No, you don't do that. You need to be professional at the end of the day, because this is government's funds, and that government funds comes from the community, from SARS, from people who are paying the taxes. So we need to be responsible at the end of the day, even if they're not covering for everything. But the fact is the money comes from the government, and we need to utilize it very, very well.
Wonderful. So in terms of your accounting records and bookkeeping, do you use Excel? Is there an accounting software that you're using? How do you make sure that you're tracking your finances methodically?
We use not a software per se, but we have done a spreadsheet on our system that we keep everything maybe simple and have files, and then we file them every month. We file them, and then we also maybe just write them in our system, what we've used, what we have remains. We do the banking, we do the printing of the bank statement every month, we record and we report every month to the department anyway.
This is a requirement, or you are?
It's a requirement. You must report to the department every quarter.
And what must go in that reporting pack that you must submit?
The bank statements.
Okay.
The bank statements must be aligned with the receipt. If you withdraw 100 rands in the receipt, you must say it's 100 rands. I've used the 100 rands. If you have purchased for 5,000 rands, it must reflect, the invoice must reflect 5,000 rands. That's how you have to compare.
So there's no room for mshiga.
No, you can't. You can't. The minute you do that, the funding will be cancelled.
Really?
Definitely.
That happens?
It happens. So many ECDs, they've closed them down because of that.
So if you don't run a tight ship, the government will part ways with you.
They will. You'll run it for yourself from your own pocket, because you don't want to comply and you don't want to answer to anything. So
I like that.
unfortunately, if you don't adhere to the rules and regulations, and remember, you don't need to be 100%. You need to be 80-20. At least the 20%, you've made a mistake there. Now we can at least understand, or you've missed this receipt. But 80%, they said, okay, we see the 80%. We can see the
You are trying.
You are trying. But 20%, when 80 every time, every quarter, 80%, you don't know what you did with the money. That's the problem.
When was Boitumelong eligible to qualify for the subsidy for the first time? Do you remember how many years ago that was?
I don't remember, because I already found my mother just being compliant and receiving money every year. So I took it over.
Made sure
Yes.
we run this tight ship.
Yes. But now it's different now. My mother, we were doing the recording with the pen, and then salary from the,
from the till.
And then the brown envelope, no UIF, no benefits, no, what you call this, the UIF, leave, none of that. So now when I came in, introduced that you're going to get your salary from your bank, no, you cannot do that. It's going to be expensive, Bokoko.
Yes.
So I had to change up until today. No, we're doing fine now.
Take us through that evolution, because your story is so beautiful. We started as a soup kitchen more than 70 years ago, where there were no permanent employees, there was no labor relations, and to comply with nothing. And now you've had to shift and come in line with. Take us through that process.
As I said, that I'm a public relation officer.
Yes.
By going to school and
graduating.
So by profit now, I was a public relations, but because of being the part that I was doing for the road accident fund, I was exposed to so many things in road accident fund. So by me moving to the educational space, it was the only difference was like how to teach, how to do these things. But the rest of the things, I took them from corporate and then applied them to school, and they worked. And they worked amazingly, because the school was run by an old regime. So you can imagine the shifting, introducing the pay slip, introducing the UIF, introducing how we're going to work with an itinerary, introducing so many leave, for instance. You have to apply for a leave. They didn't know leave. They were only taking leave in December. And then only maybe when they get sick, go home, but you must come back tomorrow. Such things, when you introduce such things, it was like for the staff, especially the old staff, it was like they were grateful for something that they don't know. So for me, introducing that you're going to have maternity leave for 3 months, having the study leave, having the family responsibility. They knew nothing about that. I had to introduce that. But at the same time, we have to appoint a labor relations company to come and talk to us. You give them their rights. They must know their rights. That if the principal is going to pay me after the 7th of every month, what must I do? You need them to give them their rights. At the same time, the basic conditions of employment, you must just lay them to them. You must give them that. They must know those things. That at the same time, you have rights, but still, even the employer has their own rights. So we need to be aligned and understand each other every year. And those workshops are done every year, because human beings sometimes they seem to forget.
So you've got so you have a way that you budget for training, and then you're bringing all these labor relations consultants to the workshops. How do you budget for that? How do you fund that?
The labor relations, when you call such people that from the UIF, we've got expertise, and those are free.
Really?
Those are free from the government. Government has so many things that they do for free. Don't have to get a company, private company, to come and do that.
So maybe talk about some of the free government services that you are able to access, that maybe some people
the fire and first aid training. The government does that for free.
Which department? Where do you go to?
From the fire station, from the health environment.
Yes.
They will give you the contacts from the JMPD. You work with JMPD, and then you work with the health department. They will give you all those departments so that you get free consultation. They come to your school. They do training for you. The first aid every year. If there's no teacher with the first aid, you call them. They do a 3 to 4 days. First aid, they get their certificate, and then after 2 years we renew them every year.
You are so resourceful. What else can we get from the government?
For free.
Yeah.
From the UIF, you can appoint people from the UIF to explain what is UIF. For instance, when you resign, you don't get your UIF. They must know why. For instance, and then they also audit, and then why are they, you give like the salary scale. They will tell you for a domestic, it's a you need to give at least minimum of 4,000 per month.
Yes.
They do that the scale for employment. Even if the government, you don't meet the scale, but we are trying because things are hard, So they educate such things from the department, especially the UIF. In Alexander, we use the Santon Labor, the UIF department, the Indian Santon. So they come through and assist us. Then we use the Santon fire station to come and do disaster for us, and the trainings and the fire drill.
Yes.
Now we do fire drill for if there's a fire. They do that for free for us. But however, I've appointed CISA. CISA is another company. It's a private company whereby they do payslip for us, and then they do they also go to the CCMA for us if we have an employee who didn't want to adhere to the rules of the policy of the company. So they stand for us.
You've got policies?
I have the policy for staff members, yes.
Okay.
Do have
What are some of the things that are covered in that policy?
In the policy, for instance, you cannot come to school wearing the earrings, and you cannot come late, the late coming, the swearing or beating up the children at school, coming late, coming drunk, such rules.
All this is documented.
It's documented and they sign for it.
You run a tight ship.
We're working with children that are not ours biologically, but we need to be safe at the same time, because you're protecting the teachers themselves, you're also protecting the children, and you also as an employer, because you cannot just take things for granted. Anything can happen.
Wow. Okay. So now you've been out of corporate for how long in Boitumelong? How many years is that? It's 10?
It's 14 years.
It's
now.
14
running
years
the ECD. Yes, it's 14 years now.
What has been the biggest learning curve for you coming out of corporate and now leading this ship and kind of trying to turn it around, professionalize it, raise the standards?
You know what, I will tell you the honest truth, that not to say I didn't love children, but I fell in love.
I can see. I
fell in love with those children because they're so innocent. And number two, taking someone's child from 8 o'clock until 4:30. Ah, man. When we close schools December, I get sick because I want the schools to open. That noise, that love, the hugs, that genuine.
Yeah.
That genuine.
Sis Longa, did you answer my question about what has been the biggest learning curve for you coming out of corporate and then coming into this?
Yeah, it was one of the things that I've learned to love them.
You've learned to love.
I've learned to love them. I've learned that education is forever. And then education is very important to the young minds. And I've learned that children of the community, they need to have a safe space, a safe environment, a beautiful environment. And I've learned that in different families, you get different characters from different families, and you need to adapt to different aspects of a family. That we have families that are very loud, we have families that are very down, we have families that are fighting. So you have to accommodate each and every different character that comes into your space and accommodate them and understand. But the minute you're saying, if they shout, I'm gonna shout back. No, you don't work like that. You need to learn when they shout, you need to come down. And then if they do this, you need to be this. So I've learned so many beautiful things, especially when it comes to a human character.
Very nice. So Sis Longa, you run a tight ship from a financial management point of view. When does your financial year, it runs from when to when?
It's our financial year end is in every March, 30th March. Yes.
So we are now in the beginning of your new financial year.
Yes.
What are your big plans and your big dreams for this new financial year?
Every year we have objectives, and then we have aims and visions and missions that are in place. So every year I make sure that we introduce something new, and then I train my teachers. For instance, in this year, our financial year, through our sponsors, we're going to do autistic workshop and milestone, because we don't want to be left behind. And the other thing that we grow our coding class, we get more laptops, and then last year we were building a class for a toddler class, whereby, let me just give you just a snippet. Last year we had kids that turning 2 years after June. So the child cannot go to another class, cannot progress to another class, because they're turning to July, 1st of July. So those kids are not left behind, so they need to repeat a class. So in that, I said, you know what, let's build a class for those who are left behind to repeat, for them to go into the same class, same rules, same teacher. No, let me get another teacher, new teacher with new programs, so that you don't repeat. You take them from this out from when you pass from grade 1 to grade 2. Also, then they need to get that also.
Do you know, for me, the big thing that's standing out right now is that you're not just seeing this as a little kid. You just want to roll out the red carpet for this child and just give them the best experience possible.
Yes. Because repeating a class, it's not good. With new kids who are crying, you don't want to mingle. Sometimes because they were doing that. Shh, Aras, you're making noise. So they don't understand why they're crying. And yet, when they came, they were crying like the others, So that's shifting.
I wasn't even connecting those dots because these ones now understand the rules,
the routine,
system,
exactly.
And now you're putting me with these uneducated, untrained ones. Like I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
So you are keeping that unit together.
Yes.
But you're creating a different
environment for them. With maybe the toys are different to the 1 year, 6 months, and then they're getting more toys that are advanced for their age. So that's how it is in all the classes. That's how
I think South Africa would be wonderful if we had all these Boitumelongs all around the country.
It will be beautiful.
Hey?
It will be beautiful.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
so how you got to this? You were talking about your mission and your objectives for the new financial year. So you said you're going to take your teachers for training on autism?
And milestone also.
What is autism? We've spoken about a little bit later, but milestone, what is that?
The milestone that comes when the ages, like for instance, a 1 year, 6 to 2 years, you don't teach them. You take step by step. For instance, they must able to walk, they must able to grab, they must able to play outside of the classroom, they must able to do the certain puzzles. That's a milestone. And then staking, putting a block on top of the one for balancing. So that's part of their milestone. Maybe they're going to the group 1 class. Now we're giving maybe a 3 puzzle, a 3 set of puzzle, 1, 2, 3. On the toddler, but on the group 1 we give them maybe a 6 set. That's where they can put more than 6, and then on pre-grade I'll give them 10. That's how the milestone goes. That's how it is, because you cannot give a 1 year 6 months puzzle of 100.
No, you can't.
Yes. So we take them milestone, and even the language, even the vocab, everything, it must be aligned. And then with their age, because we have a 1 year 6 months, or let's say a 2 year, we can say mama, papa, abut, but the others, they cannot even say it immediately. It's a milestone. They take time. They're not gonna be the same. But the other one, by the age of 2 years 6 months, he can now able to say mama, papa fluently. So you see, the children are not the same.
So the milestone course will help the teacher and the teacher assistant to be able to do what?
Yes. The what?
The milestone course. It's going to help.
Yes, the teacher to identify some other areas that, okay, is lacking on the vocab. This one is lacking when it comes to cognitive, to do the puzzles. And then we can say, that he cannot do the puzzles there. So what must we do if he cannot do these puzzles? There are so many things, activities that we can do, the cutting and the handling of the pencil. So all those things, it comes from the milestone, that on this certain group you're doing this, on the certain group you're doing this. So those things, if they know what to do according to the ages, then we good with thumbs up.
So this is going to help get a better teacher who's going to be able to help the young people get better outcomes and thrive in that environment.
Yes.
Excellent. What else are our objectives for 2024?
I'm planning to since we have a grade R, I'm planning to have a foundation phase.
Okay.
A grade 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Because it's part of us. Grade R, 1, 2, and 3 is a foundation phase. Then from grade 4, 5, and 6, it's by, they call it intermediate phase, you know. So we saw fit that our learners, since we take them through to grade R, can't we do the foundation, the whole of the foundation phase, so that when they go to grade 4, they know how to read, their vocab is good, you know, their fine motor is perfect, the gross motor, they're strong, and the confidence out of all, it's good, because the grade 4, that's where they started writing the test, you know, now they're starting the business of
this is serious.
Now it's serious now. So we want them from our hands when they leave the school in that foundation phase. When they face the world, our learners are good.
I think that's a genius idea, because I'm just asking myself, when a little kid leaves Boitumelong, having coded, having done all these amazing things, having done Climber Club, they leave at 6 years old. Where do they go?
That's where the foundation came, because we saw that we give them so much. And if they go to the nearby school, they don't get those things. It's going to be a loophole. They're going backwards. So that's the problem. And the parents too, they complain. They complain that, you see now, principal, you introduce all these things. And when I take my child to that school, there's no such thing. So can you please have the foundation phase so that you accommodate these kids? But now, the parents who can afford, they take them to the matricial school or to the private schools. Right. Because we also encourage them. I'm not saying I'm discrediting the government schools. We can do it. It's just that we need to have a proper plan for the future, because I cannot introduce them to coding, and yet my next door school that belongs to government, they don't do this, they don't do that. So government, please, whatever that I'm doing, also do that, so that it's a lineup. Because even one of the sponsors even said, Lunga, how about you get a primary school that will be under your wing, a high school that will be under your wing. So those kids from Boitumelong, when they go to that school, you continue the program. And from that primary school to the high school, you continue the same program, so that they don't miss out. But now, what about my kids? But what about other kids from other schools? You see, so it needs to be formalized to every schools.
Okay, so this expansion of the foundation phase, it's a no-brainer. We got to have it. How long is it going to take you to do that, and how much do you need?
Well, the foundation phase, if by God's plan, it can take us a 2-year.
It's a 2-year plan. Okay.
And then in that 2 years, we need to have a good structure of classes. You know, we must have the professional teachers who will be doing that, and also accommodating the codings and robotic learning lab, the learning labs, and then the library. We need a library. Also, we need a craft department where they will do woodwork.
Okay.
Also, we want to introduce woodwork. Yes. From the grade 1, they must just able to do coding. They must able to able to read. They must able to do woodwork also, because that's what it was happening in the past. So we want to introduce them to such things. Yes. And then the money.
Is it, how many zeros are we talking?
Hey.
Did you calculate this longer?
No, we didn't actually calculate, but we assuming plus minus 5 million to start up.
5 million rand. Okay. What is this 5 million going to get us? Do we have the land?
We have a land in our own premises.
Okay,
yes.
So you've got space to expand.
Yes.
So now part of this 5 million will go to the new buildings, the new structures.
Yes.
And then all these other cool gadgets.
Exactly.
Some of these other things that you outlined.
Yeah, because I think the gadgets, the salary is not part of the 5 million. Okay. The 5 million is for the structure itself.
It's for the land and
the equipment, the office setup, the reception, the tables and chairs, the toilets. We want those things first, and then after that, maybe the sponsorship comes through. Then we request all those nitty-gritty things.
Do you have your building plans? Do you have that structure, the architecture?
Yes, we have already started to do the building plan.
We don't
How
waste
is
time, eh?
No way. It needs to.
So the vision is crystal clear.
No, it needs to kick off. It needs to.
Wonderful. Okay, great. So if somebody's listening to this and they're like, out of my CSI budget, I'm an ECD supporter. How do they get hold of you to say, Lunga, can we talk about this project and understand what you need?
Already, I have a Facebook. We have a Facebook. We are on the Instagram. We have a website.
What's your Facebook? What's your Facebook? Is it a handle? Or I don't know. Instagram, I know is a handle. I don't know on Facebook. What do they call it?
I can ask my administrator because he's doing my Facebook.
Okay, ask him and then he must get back to us.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're on Facebook.
Yeah, we're on
Probably
Facebook.
as
Yeah,
Boitumelong.
yeah, they just get just type Boitumelong Elilene and it will just pop up.
Wonderful.
With our logo there.
On
and
Facebook.
On Facebook.
Are you on Instagram?
In Instagram, my daughter,
Okay.
she's doing that also in Boitumelong. It just can pop up.
Nice.
And on the website, we do have Boitumelong because every time, the Google, it sends you the message that 20 people, they just look at your space.
No.
So but it needs this proper nice Facebook page. The pictures is under construction, that one, but you can still find us on Facebook with old pictures, but now we want to be a proper what you call with our logo, with classes, with teachers. Everything, it needs to be structured on our especially the website. It needs to be professionally made.
Wonderful. So if there's somebody that wants to talk to you about this and see if they can partner with you, they can find you on Facebook, they can find you on Instagram, website under construction. We're jazzing it up.
Yes.
It already exists, but we want to make it a little bit more,
nicer. Yes.
Okay. This has been absolutely amazing. What else do you want to tell us about Boitumelong that I haven't asked you?
We have concerts every year.
Okay.
That's what's part of our fundraising. That's where we develop. It's under social development, under the social life skills and social. Our children, they have talents. Talent. It's like a talent show. Have you watched maybe this talent show?
America's Got Talent.
Yes.
Idols, those kind of
My
things.
learners can do things. They can imitate.
Yes.
They can imitate where the song plays. They can imitate a song, and they can do some different dancing. They can do this Indian dance, with the Caribbean dance. We do a lot of things. Wow. We do choir. We did joyous songs last year.
As we joyous celebration.
Doing joyous celebrations, but it's miming. We call it miming.
Okay.
The song can play and the kids will mime the song. The whole song, mind you, the whole song. So we do concerts from the toddler until the grade R. Different things on our the excitement in that. Beautiful. It boosts their confidence when they leave the stage. The following year, it's something different. It's a concert. So you can imagine from toddler until grade R in the same school, you get in levels and different things that you do on concert. It builds their confidence because that's what we need, confidence.
Absolutely.
If a learner has a confidence, it will take you a long way. They'll do the best in everything they do. Respect, confidence. When it comes to education itself, everything, it's flawless because they know this. It's embedded to their life stream. It's good.
So Lunga, can we just go back to your foundation phase expansion? When you get that 5 million and you get that operation running, how many little kiddies can you take care of in that phase?
Yeah, in that, unfortunately, I'll be able to take only 30 learners in class.
30. So that gives you how many classes? 2 classes.
It's grade 1, 2, and 3.
So maybe
there'll be
10 per class.
No. There'll be 13 grade 1, and then the very grade 1 goes to grade 2. Remember, we're gonna the very same child that is in grade 1, he's gonna start a grade 2 class, and then the new grade R, they're gonna continue the grade 1. That's how it's gonna do. 30.
How many have you got in grade R this year?
44.
So you're not budgeting to take everybody across to the promised land.
No, because remember, we have parents that you can afford, who can take their children to other private schools.
Okay.
So the 30 to those who that, okay, I'm within this scope, I can fit in this budget,
Okay. I take that back. I take that back. So you've done the sums. You know that some of the parents can afford to take their child to a Model C school or even a private school where they are going to continue to get the level of teaching, training, guidance that they're getting now. So those ones are not a risk. Those ones are fine. But it's the ones that may have to go to a less sophisticated where they will get frustrated and feel like they're going backwards. These are the ones that you're solving for. These are the ones that are going to the 30. After grade 1, it's what?
It's grade 2.
Grade R and then grade 1 and then grade 2.
Then grade 3.
Okay. So every year it is wonderful. I saw what happens, when I listen to you talk, I can see the love for the kids and I can see they're in such a nurturing environment. There's right now people are getting flack about gentle parenting because there's no boundaries and there's no this, but your child is getting so much love and attention, and that child is seen and validated. And I think it's a rare experience for some of the kids in your area. So that's why I think what you're doing is so amazing. And you're such an incredible human being.
It is because. And also maybe that I didn't maybe add up that in those excursions that we do, it's educational excursions, and there's Climber Club whereby it's not part of the package, and then also we have going to the wilds. There's this program. It's not a program itself. It's part of the basic education, CAPS, and it's aligned. There's a framework called NCF, National Curriculum Framework, whereby the learners, they need to learn outside of the classroom. To the environment. It gives you a framework how to run your class, how to align it with CAPS also. So last year we were doing NCF with another institution whereby one of the companies, the sponsorship paid for my teachers and assistant to attend how to do the NCF. So when we were doing that last year, we thought, this is a good program. How about we take our learners to the wilds? Let's go and learn outside the classroom using nature itself. Just nature, and do work through nature. Do classroom work, the theme, but it must be done through nature.
Wow.
It's something new.
Absolutely.
And beautiful. So we'll be doing that in May this year. We'll be going to the wilds.
That is amazing. You are so resourceful. That's another thing. And you make this thing look so beautiful. When I'm listening to you, I'm Saba way to be at Boitumelong. I promise this is the last question. So if there's somebody that's watching that's they don't have as many miles on the road as you have from an ECD point of view. If you had to go back to, if you knew then when you started what you know now, what you could have done differently, what would that be?
If the skills and what I have now, if I had it 10 years, I should have maybe 10 ECDs.
Is it?
Because what I know now and I didn't know them before. It's not a part of a regret, but I think sometimes you need to grow from what you have been and then to the future level, to this point. It's a very beautiful learning curve, but it seems as if other people were getting such privileges in the past and how much learners or children of the community have missed, whereby we have so many problems encountered now because of what they have missed in the past. So I can imagine, especially learners from a community like Alexander, if they had this 10 years ago, we have been producing good leadership skills to those high school ones, because there's too many violence, too many anger. They are angry they've got this, I don't know, I can just want to put it, I don't know how to put it, I don't want to put it blindly, but the youth of today, if they got what I've missed in 10 years ago, I think we've produced good learners with good metric results, not pretended results that are put on the statistics as if they're there and they're not there. So I sometimes regret that if they can get this 10 years ago or 20 years ago, we should have a good leadership of youth and choosing their careers wisely, and run away from this nyaupe thing, there's what you call hubly, and get pregnant so easily because they've missed the foundation that they were supposed to get 20 years ago. So,
and that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, to amend and to rectify what was done in the past. We are not saying other teachers or other ECDs, they didn't do their best, they did. But if we all come into one accord and do one thing, and advance ourselves with so many things and advisors, it will take us a long way.
Thank you so much, Sis Lunga. Thank you so much. So, just in closing, for me, this was amazing. I hope you really enjoyed Sis Lunga and her energy. But I'd love this to be able to take some of the critical things that she's raised about being resourceful, about working with the government, the departments, and tapping into some of the resources that are made available for free, helping you to help your community better, and some of the partnerships with corporates that you need to put yourself out there and be willing to put yourself in a position to ask, but you'll be surprised what you can get when you ask. I'm thinking now of the climber clubs, the occupational therapy services that are benefiting the kids. So I hope you're gonna revisit this video with Sis Lunga and look at how you can take your ECD to the next level. See you next time.